Hello friends, welcome to ACE Tutorials. Today we are going to discuss Routh-Hurwitz method, special case 1. To understand this method, in this I have considered an example of fifth order general form of characteristic equation. Fifth order general form of characteristic equation can be represented as a0 into s to the power 5 plus a1 into s to the power 4 plus a2 into s to the power 3 plus a3 into s to the power 2 plus a4 into s to the power 1 plus a5 into s to the power 0 is equal to 0. Now from this characteristic equation we are going to form the array. For that we know that we need to consider the highest power of the s, and in this characteristic equation the highest power is s to the power 5. You can see in this, first I have considered the highest power, that is s to the power 5, and remaining s powers I have taken in decrementing order. That you can see here, s to the power 4, s to the power 3, s to the power 2, s to the power 1 and s to the power 0. Now we know that we can form the two rows directly from the characteristic equation. That is, by considering, we can see that s to the power 5 quotient is a0. First I am going to write that a0 value, and to get the second value I am going to take the alternate of s to the power 5, that is s to the power 3, and its coefficient is a2. I have taken that a2, and to get the third value I am going to take the alternate value of s to the power 3, that is s to the power 1, and its coefficient is a4. So here you can see that I have written the a4 coefficient. So this is how we are going to form the first row, and to form the second row you can see here s to the power 4, and in the characteristic equation s to the power 4 quotient is a1, that I have written here first a1, and to get the second value I am going to take the alternate value of s to the power 4, and s to the power 4 alternate value is s to the power 2, and its coefficient is a3. Here I am writing that a3 coefficient, and for the next third value I am going to take the alternate value of the s to the power 2, and s to the power 2 alternate value is s to the power 0, and its coefficient is a5, that I have taken here coefficient a5. So in this way we can form the two rows. The other way also, you know that in the first row you can look into the even coefficient, that is a0, a2 and a4, that I have considered in the first row, and in the second row we can consider the odd coefficients, that is a1, a3 and a5. You can see here a1, a3, a5. We can use any method. Now to get the third row we are going to multiply a1 with a2 minus a0 with a3 whole divided by a1. So the whatever the value we get, we are going to consider in the third row. If we get 0 value when we do this multiplication, then the second value, some non-zero value with respect to this multiplication, that is a1 into a4 minus a0 into a5. One value I am having in the third row, second value is non-zero, and first value, in case if I get 0, then the next you can see that when I am going to multiply 0 into a3 minus a1 into b2 whole divided by 0, that means anything divided by 0 is infinity. So once you get infinity, further we not able to form the Routh array, that means Routh array fails in this. So when such condition comes, we are going to use the special case 1. Let's see how to proceed with special case 1. So now in this, once we get 0, anyhow we need to form the array and we need to comment on the stability. We are going to replace this 0 in special case 1 with epsilon. Epsilon is the smallest positive integer number. You can see here in Routh-Hurwitz special case 1 method, we replace 0 with epsilon, that is smallest positive integer number. So if I am replacing this 0 with the smallest positive integer number, that is epsilon, I am going to get in this form the array. So first two rows I have written as it is. Now in the third row I have replaced the 0 with epsilon, and then b2 as it is, and third row in this case 0, and that also have written as it is. Now we need to form the fourth row. For that we are going to multiply epsilon with a3 minus a1 into a2 whole divided by epsilon. You can see here epsilon into a3 minus a1 into a2 a1 into a2 whole divided by epsilon, and I have written here epsilon. Now further this can be separated. You can see here c1 is equivalent to epsilon a3 divided by epsilon minus a1 into b2 divided by epsilon. This value I have equated with c1, I have written in the fourth row first value. Now to get the c2 value, that is second value in the fourth row, we are going to multiply epsilon with a5 minus a1 with 0. You can see here to get the c2 value, I have multiplied epsilon with a5, epsilon into a5 minus a1 into 0 whole divided by epsilon. You can see in this epsilon a5 by epsilon minus a1 into 0 is 0. The whole term becomes 0 here. Only epsilon a5 by epsilon get cancelled. I will be getting here a5. So anyhow, this a5 I have equated to c2. I have written here in this fourth row c2. Now to get d1, that is fifth row first value, I am going to multiply the c1 value with b2, c1 into b2 minus epsilon into c2. You can see that to get the d1 value, c1 multiplied with b2 minus epsilon multiplied with c2, whole divided by c1, and I have this value can be written as, you can see that c1 b2 by c1 minus epsilon c2 by c1. Now this whole value I have equated to d1, and here I have represented that d1 value. Now next, to get e1, we know we are going to multiply d1 with c2 minus c1 with 0. You can see here d1 with c2 I have multiplied minus c1 into 0 whole divided by d1. So in this c1 into 0 is 0, d1 c2 by d1 get cancelled, then I am going to get c2. So that means I am equating the c2 value with e1. I have written here e1. Now this is the array we got now, but I want to comment on the stability. I need to substitute the c1 value, c2 value, d1 value and e1 value. Epsilon c1 value, I got c1 is equal to epsilon a3 divided by epsilon minus a1 b2 divided by epsilon. That I am writing c1 value here. And c2 value, we know we got c2 is equivalent to a5. I am writing c2 value as a5. And next you can see that d1 value I got here c1 into b2 divided by c1 minus epsilon c2 divided by c1, that d1 value I have written here. And e1 value, you can see e1 value I got c2, I have written here c2. Now we are going to consider the epsilon equation. Leaving this term, all other rows, whatever the epsilon equation I have got, I am going to apply the limit epsilon tends to 0. We will consider the first equation. You can see that for this equation, that is c1 is equivalent to limit epsilon tends to 0 a3 minus a1 into b2 divided by epsilon, a1 into b2 divided by epsilon. And we know when I apply limit epsilon tends to 0, anything divided by 0 is infinity. So now if I subtract anything with infinity, I will get a infinite value. That is, in this you can see that a3 minus infinity, the value for c1 I am getting minus infinity. For this term I am getting a value of minus infinity, which you can see here I have substituted in this c1 value is minus infinity. Next, as you can see the d1 term, in the d1 term, when I am going to apply the limit epsilon tends to 0, in this c1 get cancelled. I will be getting a equation b2 minus epsilon c2 by c1, that is d1 value. Now d1 is equivalent to limit epsilon tends to 0 b2 minus epsilon c2 by c1. In this, when I apply epsilon tends to 0, then this whole term becomes 0. I will be getting a value of b2, that you can see here d1 is equivalent to b. You can see d1 value b2 I have written in this array. Now the last, you can see c2, and you know the c2 value, that is when you multiply this value with this term minus this value with 0. whenever you multiply in the diagonal, if you get 0, the above value we are going to get as a resultant value for this s to the power 0. Now in this you can see that C2 value is A5. I can replace the C2 with A5. Now we got the complete row by just applying the limit epsilon tends to 0. Now you can see this is the array we got after applying the limit epsilon tends to 0. Till here I got the same rows, and for this epsilon equation I got an value of minus infinity. I have considered here minus infinity. The next value as it is A5 I have considered. So for this epsilon equation I got B2, that I have shown here, B2 value, and then for C2 I got A5. Now the array is ready. We need to check the first column. If all the coefficients are with the same sign, then the system is stable. If any sign change if we find in the first column, then the system is said to be unstable. You can see in this first value I am having positive sign, second also positive sign, third it's a positive integer number. Now from positive plus to minus it is changing, that is one sign change. Minus to plus, this is two sign change. So in this first column you can see that we are getting two sign changes. That means two poles are coming on the right hand side of the S-plane, and we know that if any one pole also comes to the right hand side of the S-plane, the system is unstable. In this power, that is I have considered the example of fifth order characteristic equation. That means total I am having 5 poles. In these 5 poles, 2 poles are moving to the right hand side of the S-plane and 3 poles are remaining in the left hand side of the S-plane. We'll try to understand this better by solving one problem. Using Routh-Hurwitz method, find the stability of the given characteristic equation s to the power 5 plus 2 into s to the power 4 plus 3 into s to the power 3 plus 4 into s to the power 2 plus 6 s to the power 1 plus 8 is equal to 0. Need to form the array. We know the procedure. To form the array, first I need to consider the highest power of the s from the characteristic equation, and in this you can see the highest power in the characteristic equation is s to the power 5. I have considered that s to the power 5 here, you can see, and then I have taken the other power of s in decrementing order, that is s to the power 4, s to the power 3, s to the power 2, s to the power 1 and s to the power 0. Now to form the rows, we need to know the coefficient values. First you can see the first coefficient a0 is equivalent to 1, and then the second coefficient a1 is equivalent to 2, and the third coefficient a2 is equivalent to 3, a3 is equivalent to 4, and fifth coefficient, in this you can see a4 is equivalent to 6, a4 is equivalent to 6, and seventh coefficient, that is a5 is equivalent to 8, a5 is equivalent to 8, a0 is 1, a1 is 2, a2 is 3, a3 is 4, a4 is 6, a5 is 8. Now we know by considering this coefficient we can form the two rows, and we know the procedure by taking the even coefficient in this a0, a2 and a4. 3 even coefficients I am going to write here. First a0 coefficient, that value is 1, and then a2 coefficient value is 3, and then a4 coefficient value is 6. I have taken in this way a0, a2 and a4. Even coefficient values are 1, 3 and 6. And for the second row, we know that I am going to consider the odd quotient, that is A1, A3 and A5. In A1 I am having the value of 2, and in A3 I am having a value of 4, and in A5 I am having a value of 8. So by considering in this way, we are going to get the two rows directly from the characteristic equation. Now we are going to obtain the third row by multiplying this first and second row in this way, by multiplying 2 into 3 minus 1 into 4 divided by 2. 2 into 3 minus 1 into 4 divided by 2. So 2 into 3 6, 6 minus 4 2, and 2 by 2 we are getting here 1. So here the third row I am getting with a value 1. Now next, to get the second value of the third row, we are going to multiply 2 into 6 minus 1 into 8 divided by 2. 2 into 6 minus 1 into 8 whole divided by the first value, that is 2. 2 into 6 12, 12 minus 8 you are getting here 4 by 2, which is equivalent to 2. So the second value I am getting here 2. So the next further I am not having any quotient values here, I will be getting here in this case 0. Now we are going to get the fourth row by multiplying this value, that is 1 into 4 minus 2 into 2 whole divided by 1. Now in this you can see 1 into 4 4 minus 4 0. So I am getting here 0 value in this row. Now I am going to get the second value of the fourth row by multiplying 1 into 8 minus 2 into 0 whole divided by 1. In this you will get, this term will be 0. 1 into 8 8 divided by 1 8. So here I am getting a value of 8, and we know that whenever I am multiplying diagonally, if I am getting 0, the above is the resultant value, which I have shown here. I got that same value. If you want, we can write directly also. Whenever you see any diagonal multiplicand is 0, the above value you can consider as a resultant value. Now you can see in this we are getting a first value of the row 0. If such condition if we get, I am not able to proceed further, because if I am multiplying 0 into 2 0 minus 1 into 8 8 minus 8 divided by 0, anything divided by 0 I am going to get infinity. If I multiply 0 into 2 minus 1 into 8 divided by 0, then I will be getting here anything divided by 0 is infinity. In such a case, root array fails. Root array failed. In this we are going to use now special case 1. Now we know that once we get the any row first value 0, then we are going to replace this 0 with epsilon, that is smallest integer positive number. Now you can see in this, now we got here in this row first value 0. Now root array fails, so we know that we are going to use the special case, and special case 1 says that replace this 0 with epsilon, that is smallest integer number. So now we are going to replace this 0. You can see here I have written these 3 rows as it is, first row, second row and third row, and whatever the fourth row I got 0, that I am replacing with epsilon, and then second value as it is I am writing, that is 8. Now we are going to proceed to form the array. Now by multiplying epsilon into 2 minus 1 into 8, epsilon into 2 minus 1 into 8 whole divided by epsilon. We know that so now this value I am going to equate to d1 is equivalent to, I am getting so and so value. Now further this d1 can be written as d1 is equivalent to epsilon 2 divided by epsilon. d1 is equivalent to epsilon 2 divided by epsilon minus 8 divided by epsilon. In this epsilon get cancelled. I'll be getting a value, d1 value. In this you can see 2 minus 8 by epsilon. 2 minus 8 by epsilon. Next you can see I'm not having any value, therefore I will get the second value of fifth row is 0. Next, by multiplying this value with this minus epsilon with 0 and whole divided by this, I am going to get the resultant value. You can epsilon 2 minus 8 by epsilon into 8 minus epsilon into 0 divided by 2 minus 8 by epsilon. In this epsilon 2 minus 8 by epsilon get cancelled and we'll get only 8. And we know the shortcut method, whenever we get any diagonal multiplicand 0, the above value is the resultant value, that is 8. Now in this way we are going to form the array. Now array is ready, but to comment on to the stability, I need to see that whatever the epsilon equations I am getting, I need to apply epsilon tends to 0 to the epsilon equations. You can see here I have considered all the rows as it is, first row, second row, third row and fourth row same as it is. Now only on the epsilon equation we are going to apply the limit epsilon tends to 0. You can see here limit epsilon tends to 0, 2 minus 8 by epsilon value 0. When I substitute, I will be getting 2 minus 8 by 0. Anything divided by 0 is infinity. 2 minus infinity is minus infinity. So at this point I am getting minus infinity value. The next value as it is 0 I am writing, and the last row value, that is 8. Now you can see in this, to comment on stability, we have to see the first column. If all the coefficients are with the same sign, then the system is said to be stable. If any one sign change also occurs, then system becomes unstable. In this you can see I am having positive coefficients, and here in this case positive to negative 1 sign change, negative to positive 2 sign change. In this 2 sign change, therefore 2 poles are on the right hand side of the S plane, therefore the system is unstable. In 5 poles, 2 are on the right hand side, means the remaining 3 poles on the left hand side of the S plane. As we know, any one poles comes to the right hand side, the system becomes unstable. So in this way we can determine the stability by using the special case 1, by using Routh-Hurwitz special case 1. So hope you understood this problem. For more such videos, like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.